3 years ago, I set out to construct the most powerful nootropic stack for focus, motivation, and sheer cognitive horsepower. I logged hundreds of hours, sampled endless amounts of cognitive performance chemicals, and ran beta tests with soldiers from the United States Army. And after massive experimentation and ruthless trial and error, my work had finally paid off. I found what I was looking for.
Full mental dominance. Over the years, I've come to understand that the difference between people who, how like that saying, some people suck at life. People who suck at life and people who are great at life really is brain performance. It's not that they have some special skill, that they have, all these things play a role, but you can't execute your skill unless you have brain performance, no question about it. The people that move up in corporate, you ever seen those people in your job that are just like fast trackers or just killing it? Here's their secret. They're probably taking nootropics, and if they're not, their brains work very well. There's no question about it. They're firing on all cylinders, their neurotransmitters are functioning optimally. They're either getting that from their diet, there's some sort of genetic infusion there, or something, and their brain is working well. They do cardio every morning, and they've got glucose uptake functionality and BDNF flowing through their brains, and they're just feeling good and performing well. They've got energy, brain energy. That's the critical difference between people who succeed, people who do incredibly well, and people who don't. It's brain performance. And we built a stack. I built the stack while I was an entrepreneur running another company, a technology repair firm, that I had to run basically from 9 in the morning until about, all things told, admin and everything, about 11 p.m. So all day hustling, building this company. I needed brain performance for the endurance, to keep my brain sharp the entire time, for the verbal fluency to sit and talk with executives, because part of our business was selling contracts of technology repair, iPad repair to big firms. And I had to go and sit, either have a conference call, or if they were close enough to me, I'd have to go there and sit around the table with like 7 IT executives grilling me, like, you're gonna tell us, make me feel confident about your thing. And my verbal fluency was off the charts because I was taking a particular bunch of compounds, which I eventually formulated to be the Cortex stack. So secure bottle Cortex at livecortex.com. We're going to talk about this stack here and our suggestions here. But yeah, check out the reviews on our website. There's a couple fake reviews out there of our competitors because they know that the stack is performing well out there. But in our YouTube channels, we've got people reviewing the product. Go read our last 10 videos from this video, our last 20 videos. Go read the comments. You'll see people raving about it. The product works. We targeted most neurotransmitters. We target dopamine, we're targeting acetylcholine, we're targeting GABA. Uridine inhibits GABA partially. Very, very powerful. We tried to build a natural version of modafinil. Experience mental dominance. Secure bottle of the Cortex stack at livecortex.com. You're not going to be sorry. You will love it. Okay. So we did a video some time ago on which smart drugs for which situations. This is a critically important point because I've been talking about the distinctions I've made over 8 years of taking nootropics. The last 4 years, I've made more distinctions than ever. And one of them is knowing which smart drugs to take for which situations. We did a previous video where we talked about 5 examples. I'm going to give you 5 more right now. This is what smart drugs for what situations. Part 2. Number 1, not enough sleep and need brain function. No question about it. We run into those situations where we need brain function. We didn't sleep well. Dog was loud. Neighbor was walking around with bricks upstairs because they're inconsiderate. And or whatever, and you need brain function, but coffee's not doing it. The best solution for that situation is modafinil. That's it. Modafinil is the best smart drug for that. Now, yes, it's a prescription smart drug. It's a prescription anti-narcoleptic drug, effectively. It's a pharmaceutical drug. So you probably have to, you'll have to get it from your doctor if you want to do it within the bounds of what everyone knows they should do. And I'll basically just leave it there, but say that, of course, like anything else, there's other ways of procuring modafinil. So do your research. But there's no question about it that not enough sleep and needing good brain function, hands down modafinil. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, having brain fog and needing to perform in a corporate environment. A meeting, you've got to have a meeting, etc. A friend of mine, a woman friend of mine who's late 40s or something, she might even be 50. She's going through, I'm trying to figure out, this is probably too TMI, but I'm not going to say her name, and she's cool. She's going through womanly stuff at 50, womanly stuff. And in this thing at, common womanly stuff at 50, I think you could figure it out. Her brain's not working well. I mean, she's just like, she's a friend of mine, so she's like, hey man, what's that supplement company? Isn't it a brain performance supplement? Can I try it? So she bought a bottle. She hit me up like a week before she was gonna go give this big presentation around a bunch of executives. She works in the IT field in corporate, and she's got to give presentations on cybersecurity. So she's like, can you help me with this presentation coming up? Like, I don't want to sit there and have, my brain just isn't working lately. I'm like, yeah, buy a bottle of the Cortex stack, see what you think of it. I guarantee you it's going to work for you, and you're going to go in there and give a speech. So she bought a bottle of the stack. She called me the next day and left me like a 3-minute, like, I love you, thank you voicemail. Emailed me, I think she tried to tweet me. I was like, dude, what do you got in there? Because that stuff like turned me on for the entire presentation, and I was still functioning later on that night at like 8 p.m. doing work, and I feel like I haven't felt that way in like 5 years. So the Cortex stack. For situations where you are having brain fog and you need to have your brain back, and you need to give a presentation, or you need to give a speech, or you're in corporate, you're in a work environment, you're going to do something that day, something's coming up, you got anything coming up where you're going to need good brain function, no stack better. Because we're working on most, like we talked about at the beginning, most of the neurotransmitters in the brain, with the exception of like one or two, or a couple. And optimizing the brain for stimulatory function and otherwise functionality like working memory, verbal fluency, focus, mental endurance, these sorts of things. So Cortex, if you have brain fog and you need to be in a meeting where you need to perform well, something in corporate, something at your job, and you need the brain performance. Number 3, nighttime. If it's nighttime and you want good brain function and you don't have it at the moment, but you don't want to take a stimulant that's going to mess with your sleep, which is obviously great logic, uridine monophosphate would be the answer. And the dose range would be 75 milligrams to 150 milligrams. Uridine monophosphate. Okay, it is a stimulatory nootropic. It is an acetylcholine modulating nootropic. But it has all these additional functional benefits like improving neurite outgrowth and being a substrate in phosphatidylcholine synthesis, which is cell membranes, outer structural sort of layer of brain cells. And it does not, for a lot of people, for most people, interfere with their sleep, right? It's just not one of those compounds that does that. In fact, for a lot of people, they report being able to sleep a lot better. It's weird because it's one of those nootropics that does that. There's not many. You can't take phenylpiracetam at 10 p.m. and expect to sleep. You're going to be up all night. You might be up for a while. Absolutely not modafinil. But uridine monophosphate is, it's one of my favorite nootropics, as fascinating as they get. You need to take a nootropic at nighttime, you need to function well, do not want to have your sleep jacked up. 75 to 150 milligrams uridine monophosphate, very powerful. Natural nootropic compound, you can find it basically anywhere. Number 4, if you need a mild working memory boost and you need mental energy, let's say all the things are okay, but you need memory boost, and you need mental energy. You need a brain to sort of just be more oxygenated, to have more blood flow, just to function better in one particular situation or another. I found a very cool combination of regular dose vinpocetine or regular dose of Noopept. Okay, Noopept is a smart drug that works on a whole bunch of different systems, cholinergic primarily, but also increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor in the cerebral cortex and in the hippocampus. Very powerful nootropic compound. It's an actual smart drug, but it's legal to buy it's illegal to have in the United States. So vinpocetine, though, is basically increases cerebral blood flow and oxygen. So if you want a mild memory boost with mental energy to engage in a particular task. And that's, that might be studying, it's probably gonna be doing like analytical work, it might be reading, etc. 5 milligrams of vinpocetine and 1 dose of Noopept. Dose range of Noopept is 13 to 20 milligrams is probably where I would start. That is a stack that works very, very well for me. Number 5. This I think is going to be a useful one for people, and people talk about combining racetams all the time. Epic coffee break. And I'm not a big fan of combining a whole lot of things, but what I will say is that combining these 2 racetams is pretty powerful. 2-hour burst of strong mental energy. 2-hour burst of strong mental energy. Everybody needs 2 hours to work. Everybody, can find a situation in which for the next 2 hours, they got to be on point. And they want to get their brain to have energy, strong mental energy, and a strong, not a mild, but a strong memory capacity, a strong working memory. So strong mental energy for a 2-hour burst, strong working memory. 700 milligrams oxiracetam. Oxiracetam is a cholinergic and an AMPA modulation smart drug, also legal to have in the United States. Oxiracetam, 700 milligrams of oxiracetam. It's also neuroprotective. And 700 milligrams, equal amount of milligrams, of aniracetam. Aniracetam also works on AMPA receptors, also works on acetylcholine, does so slightly different than oxiracetam does. Is, I mean, for a lot of people, anecdotally, it gives them improvements in creativity for one reason or another. Combined, they tell the hippocampus to release lots of acetylcholine. All right, so you've got a lot of acetylcholine functioning in your essentially your memory-centric part of your neurology. And both of them, via their stimulation of AMPA receptors, are very stimulatory. So if you need a burst of good solid energy with a functional benefit of memory, 700 milligrams oxiracetam, 700 milligrams aniracetam. And that, my friends, has been the part 2 of What's Smart Drugs for What Situations. Thanks for watching.